Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 288. And away we go.
Rachel get shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my door. I'm a Ramon Printer. Strict man, ain't your boy. About to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty, joined, as always, MC3 himself, Marcus Schwann. Marcus, how you doing this week?
MC3? Huh.
Marcus Davenport Schwann III.
I actually kind of dig that.
Yeah. I've called you that before.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have. Marcus Davenport Schwann III. I just dropped the middle name so it rhymes, like EC3.
Wow. What is up, everyone? It is me, your favorite actor, Mark Schwann, joined with Michael J. Putty here for another episode of Shot of Wrestling. I know Michael J. Putty just said that, but I'm going to just do it a little bit better. Welcome to my show.
Okay, take over. Then so after the show's done, I'll edit. I'll forward the stuff so you can edit it and you can post it. And then you can
it's fine.
think of everything else. It's fine. I'll take this weekend off. No problem.
No,
I'll just sit back, relax.
It's good. It's fine. It is NFL playoffs weekend. Excited about that.
Super wild card weekend.
Super wild card. Did you get involved with DraftKings and FanDuel at all? Like they offered like the free money to start gambling. Did you get involved?
No chance. I'm not falling for that.
So I did.
Okay.
And I was worried because I did have a little bit of a gambling problem back in the day, but it's free money. So I got myself in there, dude. I won almost like $300. I was pretty pumped about that. Yeah.
My friend's a big gambler. He's really into gambling. He's won some decent money off of it, but he's just so annoyed that every time he has to go to fucking New Jersey to do it. So I haven't talked to him yet. So I'm hoping he's probably really excited that he can finally do it from the comfort of his own living room now. Save him a fucking toll and trip and gas.
It's fun.
I hear it's fun, yeah. I just don't have the luck. As you saw it in Vegas, Atlantic City.
No, I don't want to talk about Atlantic City.
Marcus, we didn't get too much chance to talk, just me and you, because we had a Cheyenne, the Voice, guest last week. How was your Christmas?
Yes. My Christmas. Oh, wow. We're going back that far now? Yeah, I can't even remember.
I haven't really seen you in weeks. Christmas is a major holiday. Right?
Christmas, man, honestly, the holidays in general, like my wife and I, we just laid low pretty much. We were very cautious about who we were seeing. About vaccinated, unvaccinated, yada, yada. And thank God we did, because I have to say, I follow up with people every single day. That's part of my routine.
Okay. And
I would say, God, close to 70-75% of the people that I follow up with every day, everyone was saying like, oh, I got COVID. Oh, I got COVID. Oh, I got COVID. Or, oh, my family member got COVID.
Yeah.
Or so I live with got COVID. Like, it was going around like crazy, like wildfire. And like, thank God my wife and I were just really cautious about what we were doing. Even New Year's Eve, we just stayed in our apartment.
What's really fucking annoying is when this COVID thing first came about, everyone's like, oh, it's just the flu. It's nothing to worry about. I'm not scared of it. It's just like it's the flu. And now it's turning into like the flu. I'm like, that sucks. Where it's going to be around forever. Everyone's going to get it now. It's going to be, hopefully by the time it becomes normal.
Didn't Fauci just say, like, he's predicting everyone's going to get Omicron?
I can't really tell what Fauci said because he's too busy getting attacked by Rand Paul. So I don't really know what he said.
That was pretty funny, actually. But, yeah, man. I mean, I was just worried because, like, my wife is pregnant and, like, her getting COVID. I mean, she did catch a cold during Thanksgiving from her aunt, right? It was over. Probably shouldn't have been over when she had a pretty bad cold. And my wife got hit pretty bad with it, because, like, everything's all off. Like, now that she's pregnant, like, everything's a little bit more amplified here. And so I can only imagine what it would be like for her to get COVID. I don't want to imagine what that's going to be like. I don't know. I don't want to know what's going to do to our baby, So just being really cautious, man.
Don't think it has any negative effects towards the baby, but that's could be me just not hearing.
It does. So I was doing some reading, and then like also like some people were telling me about like some of the dramatic effects it could have for a baby. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to just stick to being a loser and not doing much.
No, so no change. My favorite part about your Christmas was you posted pictures of you getting like baby onesies.
Yeah, it's wild.
And you announced you're having a girl. You get
Yes.
and to read the comments of like, oh my God, congratulations, from people who clearly don't listen to this podcast because you announced it weeks ago. So if you listen to this podcast, you would have heard this already. Talk about people in the wrestling world.
But you know, you're talking about like my personal Facebook page. Like most people that follow me on Facebook are not wrestling fans.
There was a couple of wrestlers in our wrestling
there
universe.
were.
Yeah. I'm like, I guess you don't listen to the show.
Busted.
Mark,
Don't worry. Plenty of people do listen to the show.
changing the subject really, because I have no transfer from this, but let's just get right into it. I feel like we have to touch on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, people's connections with celebrities.
Okay.
What, a week ago, Sidney Poitier passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sucks. It's a name I've heard my whole life. Legendary, famous, historic actor. And I'm like, that sucks.
Trailblazer for sure.
Then you had Betty White pass away, which is more sad because I'm more connection to Betty White. I watched her growing up. She's very funny. Love Betty White. And then there's stuff that punches you in the gut. Bob Saget passed away. I cannot tell you how sad this was. I don't know about you because we're the same kind of generation. Danny Tanner, man,
It was shocking.
I was so sad.
I've never seen Full House, right?
Oh, that's right. Because
But-
you're too busy with getting French lessons and taking caviar and with a silver spoon in your mouth.
But I knew what Full House was. I watched more so America's Funniest Home Videos.
Okay, yeah, he's there too. Yeah,
Yeah, so I knew him from that more so. And then as an adult, you see some more of his adult stuff.
that was shocking. Yeah,
Yeah. Mad funny dude. Very weird, but he was extremely talented and beloved by so many.
he's coming out, man. Everyone loved Bob Saget. It's just this one is really one is really sad.
As like out there as he was, just in general, like no one had anything bad to say about him. It's sad. There was no foul play, no drugs or anything like that, right?
Thank God, yeah.
So, did he know yet?
The front runner is a heart attack or stroke.
65, shit, man.
Just the way he was laying in bed.
He did have like a substance abuse problems in the past, right?
Someone else said that. I have no recollection of that, nor has anybody mentioned that, so I don't want to mention that at all because I don't know. I'm assuming maybe like the 80s old comedians did. All right, but
right.
I don't think it was to the point where he had a problem where he needed help.
65, dude. That's so wild to me. So wild.
And his
Just young.
His two good friends, John Mayer and Jeff Ross, the comedian, went to LAX to pick up his car.
Right.
And driving back, they did an Instagram Live, which they posted, and I watched it. It was one of those things where John Mayer was saying you could tell how much he genuinely loved everybody. Because everybody would say, oh, my God, Bob loved you. Bob loved you. Oh, my God, I can't tell you how much Bob loved you. Like, what a legacy this man's leaving behind, too. Oh, it sucks.
And didn't he just perform or something like the night before or something like that?
Yeah, he performed in Jacksonville, 2-hour set.
With BJ Novak?
Wasn't
BJ Novak somewhere involved with
I'm not sure. I didn't hear that, but probably. Who knows? He got back to, I think he went to a hotel in Orlando from Jacksonville. He got to the hotel room at 2:22 a.m. and the time of death was 4:20 something a.m. So he just died 2 hours later. It fucking sucks. It's scary.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
It's nuts.
Fucking crazy.
If it's a heart attack, my mother was saying it's called a widowmaker heart attack, where it just comes boom out of the blue. Like my grandfather had it, a friend's father had it, and you never know, man. You never know when your time's up.
Well, isn't that the case with heart attacks in general? Like you can't predict when a heart attack's going to come. It just happens.
Yeah, so scary shit, man.
It's so scary.
But rest in peace, Bob Saget, man. This one really, really fucking sucks.
Yeah. Cheers to Bob Saget, his memory. To
Cheers.
Betty White and Sidney Poitier. Is that the 3? Is that it? Are we going to end off right
Hopefully.
there with the 3?
I think that's
because
it.
This is becoming like reminiscent of like what year was it when so many celebrities died?
Yeah,
it's like Michael Jackson, Prince. No, Prince died 3 years.
I know what you're talking about. I forget what year it was, but there was a year where it was just nonstop.
Yeah,
It was like
It was
three
just
after
like
three
celebrity
after
after
three
celebrity.
after three after three. Yeah, like every month was a three.
Yeah. Celebrities, watch your back.
Yeah. So again, that really hit me personally. And it really sucks. Again, it's weird how I never met this guy and people's connections with different celebrities. It's funny.
I felt that way with Kobe Bryant, I have to say.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that hit deep.
And Bob Saget apparently was involved in the wrestling community. He was doing a wrestling documentary a couple years ago. I saw about that.
With Piper.
Yeah, he did a piece about Piper where he said it makes sense that Bob was fascinated with wrestling because comedians and wrestlers are both traveling on the road. Yeah, that connection.
That's a wild conversation right there. It's like, what is going on here? Like, two people that are just completely like
opposites.
Yeah, but at the same time, the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just two people you never think would ever have a conversation together. And yeah,
he was an authority figure, an on-air authority figure for some promotion. I'm drawing the blank in the letters. And he had an altercation with John Moxley one time.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that clip. So he was kind of fascinated with the wrestling world too. So there's a connection here to this podcast. We're not just rambling on. But yeah, man, it sucks. It's been a rough couple weeks for celebrities and these deaths. But it's been a pretty fascinating week of wrestling. I think the first 2 weeks of the year, a lot of good wrestling content. So let's move on to see what's trending this week. Mark, talk to me.
All right, my man. So someone that doesn't necessarily make a lot of waves on Twitter, well, maybe a style of commentary sometimes, but he doesn't necessarily get trending. Corey Graves was all over the place on Twitter. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com at Sean Ross Sapp. Corey Graves has been cleared after 7 years out of the ring. Fightful Select has learned. That is pretty big. Fans are all over. We're so happy to hear about this because it's funny to see that because I feel like he gets shit on for his commentary.
Really?
But, you know, for those that don't remember, or for those that do remember, like his time in NXT, like he was pretty damn good in the ring. Louis Dangor at the Louis Dangor says, this is great news for WWE, the fans, and most importantly, Corey Graves. If he wants to get back into the ring and WWE wants him, he'd be a breath of fresh air. Could he be in the Royal Rumble at this stage? And with the timing of the news, I wouldn't bet against it. Good call there, Louis. Another fan here, Christian Miracle at Miracle Man. Let's rewind back to January 2018. Did you ever think back then that Daniel Bryan, Edge, Christian, and Corey Graves would all be cleared to wrestle over the next 4 years? Great point there, Christian.
Christian, by the way, great Twitter handle.
Yeah, that's a good Twitter name, right? The miracles of science, man. And not to go into the whole science thing here, because I know there may be unvaccinated people here talking about the ability of the vaccine, but like science in general, like you see wrestlers that years ago having these injuries they're done. They're not coming back.
Yep.
But here we are today. All these wrestlers are back and in full blown going. Corey Graves, I don't know what's in store for him here. What do you think here, buddy?
I didn't know too much about Corey Graves. I know he was, I think, just started on commentary. I don't know if the pre-shows for NXT or just starting on Raw. I forgot when it was. But ESPN did a 30 for 30 on NXT. They following some of the young up-and-coming talent. And he was one of them. And a moment I'll never forget was when he got the phone call that he couldn't wrestle anymore. He was talking to his wife, and he was very, very naturally distraught, upset.
Right.
And then not too long after, he got a phone call asking if he wants to do commentary. So he talked about it over his wife and he loves his business. He wants to be a part of this business. And lo and behold, here we are 7 years later, a great commentator.
I think he's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that you said that because I never heard a bad word about him. But I'm sure that everyone says bad shit about everybody.
So you kind of take that with a grain of salt. I mean, like people shit on the absolute greats in wrestling.
Yeah, of
so
course. There's always somebody. There's always haters out there.
Right. Like I personally, I love the style. Like as I said last week on the podcast, like I kind of emulated his style a bit when I did commentary at BWF. Later, be like, okay, I should probably do my own thing here. I love what he did, man. He reminded me of like a modern day Jesse Ventura
That's a good analogy. It's just weird how all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's been cleared, which means that I'm not assuming they're testing commentators. So this might be something he's been championing for behind the scenes a little bit. right?
I think he was,
Yeah.
because I remember, I don't know if it was an interview or a tweet or whatever it was, after Edge came back. Corey Graves was talking about like, how he got emotional about that because it gave him hope.
Wasn't his thing concussions,
get
though?
back in the ring.
It wasn't like it's
Yeah,
injury. It was concussions, right?
It was, yeah. Well, kind of like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson now.
Yeah, I think his also was the neck. Like I don't think there's anything physically wrong with him. I think it was his the concussions. But again,
you can't just say concussions, because I've had 7, man, and concussions. It's
oh no, I'm not saying. I don't mean to put it down. I'm just saying I think Edge and Daniel Bryan had physical like neck problem, back problems. His is just concussions. I don't mean to put concussions down because it's more serious than that. If he's cleared, and everyone went crazy last month when he won the 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
Oh, he got in contact with somebody, get involved. I'm like, that could be a good sign. Good for him, man.
And it's a good timing, man. Could be back in the Royal Rumble, but not everyone is saying like maybe he should be back in the ring. According to NoDQ.com, WWE and AEW News at NoDQ.com, Booker T thinks Corey Graves should stay retired from being a wrestler.
I get where Booker T's coming from because he's doing a great job in commentary. He has a job for life there. One of my favorite moments as a kid that was like, for some reason, it just stuck with me, was watching the Royal Rumble and listening to the commentary. All of a sudden, I think it was the King's music hits, and King just gets off commentary.
Sure, yeah.
And does it.
Yeah.
I think JBL did that as well one time. So I can see Corey Graves doing that. I don't know. Maybe not.
I would love that.
He probably won't last long. Maybe he'll just do a quick couple minutes, maybe eliminate a couple people and go back on commentary. Maybe he'll do a part-time commentary, part-time wrestling thing. But I get what Booker T is saying.
Yeah, like he has cemented himself on Raw as part of the commentary team. And I feel like Jimmy Smith still needs it.
Yeah, I think so.
Still needs that help. That needs that experience.
Who
Corey Graves.
Yeah.
Yeah, who exactly? Who are you going to replace him with? As much as I'd love to see Corey Graves back in the ring doing what he loves, because 7 years is a long time to be gone from doing something that you love. Man.
7 years,
it really is.
Same amount of time Daniel Bryan was gone too, right? I'm not sorry.
Around that time, Edge I think was a little longer. I think he was 9 years, right?
I don't know.
So I mean, like, you want to see Corey Graves be happy, of course, doing his thing. I wonder, like, if he's going to go back to the ring full time, if it's going to be here and there, like a Royal Rumble spot or a special feud. He's 37 years old. He's in his prime though, so
I could see him doing like the Jerry Lawler thing, where he just wrestles here and there and does like maybe gets into a feud. Because wasn't Jerry Lawler like? Oh, I think he was doing commentary when Bret Hart feud. Lawler was doing commentary and he got into feuds with people and do matches and stuff like that. This is nothing but good news. This is awesome, and that's what I mentioned earlier. Because every time someone gets released, and every time someone mentions about going somewhere else, one of your favorite lines is, "If they want to, maybe he doesn't want to, maybe he wants to pursue other things." You always say that,
right?
So I'm like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to wrestle full time. Maybe he just was doing this to see if he can make a spot in the Rumble. Maybe he wants to do this, maybe brief spots here and there. The same way Edge didn't want to go out that way. Daniel Bryan didn't want to go out that way.
No,
he does not want to go out that way. So
I can imagine thinking, going into Corey Graves' mindset, and I'm only speculating here, but thinking as a competitor would, like, your time was taken away from you, what you felt like was too short. Especially he was at 30 years old at the point. Like he was just like getting into it. Honestly, I could see him want to go back full time.
He's a former NXT
make up for lost time.
So he's a former champion, which means he's good.
He's damn good, yeah.
I'd like to see him back because I missed out on him. I didn't watch him back then.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many fans that probably have no idea that he even wrestled.
Yeah. Same thing.
And also,
again, I hate to keep saying his name, but same thing with Jerry Lawler. When Jerry Lawler started wrestling, a lot of people didn't know. Oh my God, he's a wrestler.
With all this, though, with all these wrestlers coming back from like these serious injuries, I mean, look at Nikki Bella even is getting cleared to come back for the Royal Rumble. Don't know if that's just a Royal Rumble run or it's going to be leading to something more.
Didn't she also just announce a couple weeks ago she's going to retire, not coming back? Swerve.
Yeah, I don't know. But, it got Paige actually trending for a little bit, too, because people would love to see her back. I mean, she was so damn young.
She was trending.
Forced to retire.
4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Someone on Twitter, a wrestler on Twitter, I forgot who it was offhand, goes, I'm just logging on to see if Paige is still trending. And she was. So, yeah, I mean, God bless her.
Paige has a huge fan base, man, and she's still signed by WWE, and she's not being used in
at
any
all. What a waste!
capacity at
what
all.
A fucking waste!
right? Because she's so good on the mic. She's got a great presence, or she has an amazing following. Especially for as young as she was, just had an encyclopedia of knowledge of like wrestling.
Which means she's still young because she got injured young. So I'm hoping so too. I'm in that boat. Let's see Paige back. But again, everyone's injury is different. I don't know the extent of her injury. There's hope.
She has time on her side, man. I mean, look, we saw on SmackDown, Lita is 47 years old, looks phenomenal. It's kind of have another run here. I mean, like, this is not back in the day where, age is against you. I mean, dude, we have Tom Brady, 45 years old, probably going to go to the Super Bowl this year. Like,
yeah, but Lita wasn't injured. We got to see. I don't know the extent of Paige's injury.
Right, but I'm saying, like, you had Edge that was injured so long ago. Like, now he's finally back after 9 years later. Time is on Paige's side. I'm not saying she's going to come back tomorrow. I'm not even saying she could come back next year. But I think with the miracles of science that we're seeing here, I think there is hope for her to eventually, maybe one day, we're going to hear her music hit and her come out.
Congratulations to Corey Graves. I'm looking forward to him back in the ring, any capacity, part-time, full-time, one-off. Congratulations to him, man, because it's got to be such a boulder off his shoulder. To like,
a lot of things he can do right now.
I can go out my own time. Sure. Yeah, I can make.
Yeah,
I'm in control of my destiny now.
You just hit it right there. I think that's exactly what it is. In other trending news, we had Alexa Bliss was trending. Scott Fishman at SM Fishman. Interesting merch date courtesy of U.S. bookies. Alexa Bliss Lily Doll is a big draw. Stone Cold Steve Austin still banking. And he puts out the list here of WWE highest grossing merchandise. So number one is Stone Cold Steve Austin Legacy Championship Collector's title.
Really?
Right?
It's expensive.
Yeah. So glad you said that. So that's at $850. Estimated sales, about 1,600 of those were sold for estimated earnings of $1.3 million and change.
Is there a time span here, does he say? Between what point and what point? Or just...
It's saying highest grossing merchandise. I'm assuming... I actually don't know. There's no timestamp here.
Okay.
So number two is Alexa Bliss, the Lily plush doll, at $29.99. 28,800 of these were sold for estimated earnings of $863,000 and change. And then number three, Stone Cold, again, another Skull Championship replica championship at $300 pop. 2,800 of those sold, $839,000 earnings and change. Then number four is the Spinner Belt. 5, The Rock. $6 million championship. 7, John Cena. And then we go down to 8. We see the Bloodline, We the Ones t-shirt. Finally, someone else that is in the current WWE era.
About to say that. Yeah, it's funny.
Alexa Bliss, man. That's surprising. That's huge. Patrick Mercier at Mercier 31 says, if you're still wondering why WWE is keeping the current Alexa Bliss character, there's your answer right there. Dirt sheets, wrestling insiders, and IWC whiners can bitch and moan all they want, but this character draws, period. What do you think about this, Putty? Is P. Mercier correct?
Yes and no. Again, I was wondering the time span of this because this whole Lily thing was pretty popular. And we both talked about it. I think it might have been on the show. There was a point, was it her last pay-per-view, where they were like, I want to see how the sales of Lily Doll does to see if we continue with this character. But then we see Lily Doll get written off. Right. So I'm like, what's this about? So I was wondering the time span of this. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know if I don't even know if the Alexa Bliss character is coming back because
she is Monday Night Raw.
We saw her. I don't know if it's leading to Takedown yet, but we saw her on Raw. But she's in therapy.
Yeah, she's in therapy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, so we'll watch this for a couple weeks, and she's going to come back to normal. She'll be cured. But they brought up the Lily Doll again. So who knows anymore? But I'm surprised that Lily Doll is a big seller because I think Alexa Bliss was marketable as a goddess. I'm surprised they didn't give her too much merch back then either. But it shows that she can put merch. She's a character. She can do everything. So,
listen, Alexa Bliss is a great talent. She's solid in the ring. We've said before, she's probably the best actor in wrestling. She's great with her character work. She draws. She's got a great look to her. And she's a merch pusher. Look at that, man.
That's great.
Like, there's no one else that's even close that's relevant in today's era in wrestling.
Yeah, that's huge.
To her. The number one guy. The tribal chief. The big dog. Roman Reigns. 8th. Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close. Huge. That has to speak volumes here, man. If you're looking at stuff like that, right? And you have to look at this as a business because like Nick Khan is a numbers guy, right?
Yeah.
You look at this. Yes, you're going to keep Alexa Bliss in her character for sure. You got to give her a push.
Yep.
She's gotta win the Royal Rumble, win the chamber match, whatever it is. She's got to be at WrestleMania for a championship opportunity and possibly even win it. Can you imagine if she wins the championship? Can you imagine the type of merch you could do with that championship? That would probably be the first women's championship that they could do some sort of like offshoot design of.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I just felt like, not only personally, but I think the crowd and online reaction was the character was kind of getting a little stale, especially when the Fiend left. But
so I guess that goes to...
they don't care about our reaction. They care about the money. And if she's pushing merch, I'm wrong about the therapy thing. We'll see her back, like you said, soon.
It's funny you say that, and I was thinking the same thing because, like, you know, I see on Twitter all the time, like, oh, you're in a majority here about wanting the Goddess to come back.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people on Twitter, like, they feel the same way. But obviously, I mean, people are buying. These are real numbers. People are buying this, so they're into this current version of Alexa Bliss. I'm a fan personally. I have not bought a Lily doll, but like, you know, it's
What's
funny to
you?
see. Like,
what's that behind you?
What is that Lily?
Yeah,
but no, I mean, like, it's funny. I guess it goes to show, like, the Twitter comments don't necessarily match up sometimes to the reality of things.
But also, I'm assuming, I mean, I could be totally wrong here. Not many adults are going to buy Lily dolls. It seems like every time I saw a Lily doll in the crowd, it was with a kid.
Yeah, is the kid buying that? No, it's the adult.
No, yeah, but for the kid,
right?
So now that Lily's gone, do you keep pushing this doll?
Is Lily gone? We don't really know if Lily's completely gone.
It seemed like she was kind of done, but Alexa Bliss, with her powers, who knows what's going to happen? Money talks, so I wouldn't be surprised if they brought her back.
This can go so many different ways.
If they bring Lily back, what was the point of it? Charlotte Flair destroying her in the first place. So just to write her off, I guess. I don't know. That's a different. Now we're going to spin off into a different conversation, but
yeah, I mean, can we really get inside the head of creatives at WWE? They don't even know what the fuck they're
not
doing
these days.
Sometimes.
But it was really fascinating. It was great numbers. It was good for her. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Lily, but people were, and it moved. Congratulations.
And you know what? To stay on this conversation real fast, Kevin Wood, who's a friend of the show here, he texted me initially about this, actually. So he says, so Stone Cold was the highest selling WWE guy of 2021. Alexa Bliss was somewhat surprisingly number 2. Not sure how I feel about that. Like, I'm not sure if it's a knock against the current company or a tribute to Austin. What do you think about that?
It's a very good question, because I was just thinking that, as you were mentioning it, that there's no current superstar in the top 10 outside Roman Reigns. And sometimes I'll check.
Alexa Bliss.
Besides her. Sometimes I'll check wshop.com to see what's going on. There hasn't been that much merchandise being pushed. But that also means there's, like, not that many top guys anymore. Like, Bobby Lashley doesn't have a shirt.
No.
Big E doesn't have a shirt. He has a shirt, but he doesn't wear it. He's not pushing it. Drew McIntyre doesn't really have a shirt that he wears. They're not really pushing merchandise on TV like they used to back in the day. Except this Lily doll.
So it's very interesting. I wonder why that is. Is just merch not a thing anymore? Or is it the fact that...
Yeah, it seems like to be a huge thing.
Or is it the fact that, like, you know, like, what was the point if, like, not many people are going to the arenas during the Thunderdome, so maybe they stopped?
True.
Maybe it's also, like, you know, like, things are backed up in production as far as, like, you know, producing new... You can't get stuff in the shelves anymore, yada, yada. I mean, like, the whole inflation thing, like, that could also be a play here.
Yeah. I mean, Brock Lesnar doesn't wear a shirt. You know, these guys don't wear their shirts to the ring anymore. Seth Rollins, I don't see a Seth Rollins shirt.
Maybe it is actually, like, a real
back in the day
world problem actually right now. Maybe it could be inflation. Like, again,
inflation,
are backed
supply
up
chain.
The supply chain. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get at here. It
could be a huge thing. Yeah, it's true.
That could be an issue.
So we'll see what happens in the upcoming year in 2022 if they decide to change that, because obviously the Bloodline is doing that. Obviously, they're always wearing the Bloodline shirt. Roman's is always wearing his
great shirts.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe that might be the beginning of a new infusion of merchandise. We'll see what happens.
Because that's just like easy money for them.
Totally easy money, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't. Remember, they had the foam figures for Hogan with the finger. They had the foam fingers of also the middle finger.
Right.
So I was surprised they didn't have like foam swords for Drew McIntyre. I'm waiting for the foam fingers for the ones for the Roman Reigns bloodline.
Boom. There you go. Yo, Putty, get involved here with WWE.
There's a lot of merch I have in my head that I'm surprised I'm not seeing.
He's got ideas, man. He's an idea man.
Yeah, surprised, right? I got some stuff coming up in there.
He's not just a pretty face, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But moving on to other trending news here, Jon Moxley was making some waves, not only just because of his appearance on WWE through the cameos of the videos from The Shield, but for other reasons, actually. So NoDQ.com, WWE and AEW news at NoDQ.com. Jon Moxley's return to the ring officially confirmed. There have been rumors about this. People have been wanting to see Jon Moxley come back. We were wondering.
Royal Rumble?
No.
Oh, okay.
Check this out, man. GCW made the announcement.
Oh, I did see that. Yes. Okay.
The world on GCW, Jon Moxley versus Homicide on January 23rd. It's going to be streaming live on Fight TV. That is big, man. But, some people are kind of bummed out about this. Jack Cassidy, at Real Jack Cassidy, a fan here, kind of bummed GCW spoiled the Moxley return for AEW. I'm glad he's coming back and doing well, though. Hashtag AEW Rampage. Do you think, so this was interesting. This made me think here. Because AEW Impact, they kind of have this relationship with the indies, right?
Yeah.
Where they let the talent do the thing. Respect to that, by the way. But could that be a problem here? If Jon Moxley's an AEW guy, shouldn't AEW be the one to make that announcement or let that be a surprise? Did GCW kind of spoil that for AEW, do you think?
No, I didn't think about that at all. I don't think so. GCW is probably one of the biggest indies, if you can call them indies, companies in the business right now.
They're technically indies, but
yeah.
I mean, they're huge, yeah.
With everything going on with Matt Cardona and everything like that. Isn't he the champion, though? Isn't Jon Moxley the champion?
I don't follow GCW as closely as I probably should, admittedly, so I don't know about that.
I think he was the champion. I don't know who he was the champ. Oh, yeah, I think
he was at one point a champion. I don't know if he still is, though.
Yeah, he got the belt off Matt Cardona. I think Matt Cardona lost it and Moxley won it that night. So he is the champion.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of people have eyes on GCW. It's a huge deal now. It's probably one of the biggest indie promotions out there. You got to promote your champion coming back. You got to draw tickets, draw buys, draw viewers, and going against Homicide. That's a great match.
Oh, I understand completely why GCW did it, for sure. Yeah. I completely get that. But I'm saying, do you think that this relationship that the AEW allows its talent to have with all the indies out there, do you think that kind of that hurts them from doing any type of surprise like this or whatever?
No, I don't think so at all.
I think AEW would be like, all right, what's up? That's good for you guys.
Congratulations, yes. And when you're ready to come back to AEW, which is a different horse, come back. Maybe they don't want to announce him coming back. Maybe they do want to keep it secret.
The secret's out.
GCW doesn't do that many shows. I think do one every month, maybe every couple months. Have him defend the championship, yes. Or maybe he drops it to Homicide and goes back. Maybe he's not ready to go to hit the road yet. Maybe he's not ready to do stuff yet. Because AEW's a grind. I mean, it's only 1 day a week, but it's traveling week in and week out. So I think it's totally night and day. I didn't even think about the correlation with AEW. I think once he comes back to AEW, it'll be a huge deal. Once he's ready to come back to AEW, maybe he's not ready.
I mean, you're right about that. There's no doubt. Even though the cat is out of the bag here, that Jon Moxley's out of rehab, he's good to go, cleared. When he comes back to AEW, it could even be that Wednesday afterwards. It could even be this coming Wednesday. People are going to pop.
Also, you don't want to bring him back just to bring him back. You want to bring him back at the right moment. So maybe you wait a couple weeks till the right storyline opens up, because AEW's kind of packed right now.
AEW is pretty packed. Yeah, you're right.
So wait for it. Yeah. Don't just bring him back to bring him back.
Jon Moxley does have that star power where he could insert himself into the storyline here, though.
Totally agree,
for sure. And by the way, this is not me being cynical or anything against GCW or AEW. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Honestly, I am happy for Jon Moxley. Kudos to him to be in a better place right now to come back to wrestling. That's all I have for trending. For what's trending here, buddy. Up next, actually, I do have an interview today. with Raylyn. She is one half of the BFT's Blonde Force Trauma. She's also the number one contender for the BCW Tag Team Championships against my boys, the East Coast Syndicate. Raylyn, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm the first one. I feel honored. First one of 2022. That's the right year, right?
Yeah.
Looking behind like so many years now.
Right. COVID years. I think that we're on like 10 years now.
Yeah, it feels like it.
I guess it's like dog years, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. Raylyn, I've been following your career for quite a bit. You've been crushing it. As a singles competitor, I understand you are the MCW Women's Champion.
I am.
I also know you
don't remember when I got that, but I've had it for a couple months.
And your tag team partner, Heather Monroe, she's also Memphis Women's Champion. So both of you guys, singles competitors, doing a killer job, but now coming together as a tag team. How long has been tag teaming now? How long has Blonde Force Trauma been a thing?
So we like joke about this a lot, right? Because we lost all of our matches all the time. We were always like the go-to losing in singles. So then we started winning matches and we're like, hey, let's get together now, let's combine forces. It's gonna be great. And now we like lose all the time. But that's not gonna happen this time because we need to get some gold around these waists so that people start going for BFT.
Well, we have some similarities here. East Coast Syndicate, they've been underdogs for quite a bit. Always killer tag team. Not just saying that because they're my boys, or my clients. But they're the underdogs, and we had to go through a tournament at BCW to become the first ever BCW Tag Team Champions, and we kicked some serious ass to become the first time ever. And now we have the first time ever title defense against you guys because we won, and during a pandemic.
Oh, fun! That's different. Everything's so different right now, right? So
everything's so different.
Had a belt for a year, defended it one time,
Then here we are as well, doing the same thing. So paths pretty similar here. I also understand you and Heather Monroe, you guys, you battled it out before.
We did. We feuded. It's kind of funny. I moved to LA and she lived there. And everyone kept saying, oh, you and her are so similar. You're so much alike. And I'm like, this bitch, who's she? So when I meet her and I'm like, oh, we really are similar and we really are a lot alike. But we had to definitely, we were battling to see who had the right to twerk. I won. Yes. I won that right. Now neither one of us twerk. So...
So then how did that come to be? I'm curious because, yeah, you guys have similar vibes. It seems like you guys vibe very well together. What made you guys go from we're going to fight each other to, hey, we should team up?
I think initially when we met, we're like, well, why are we so much alike? You're like, are you copying me? Are you copying me? But there's literally no way that was even possible. I was on the East Coast. She was on the West Coast. We had never heard of each other. And we just went out and had beers one day. And realized that we really were after our whole battle. And we did these ridiculous promos for the shows too. And we just clicked. We clicked so well. But she had a tag partner at the time and I was tagging with other people as well. So it just didn't work. And I would say around August, I messaged her and I said, hey, I don't know. I think I just ran into her somewhere and I sent her a long message saying, will you be my tag partner? It just makes sense. We make sense. Let's make this work. And she came up to Pittsburgh and we filmed some promos and we did some photo shoots and we had our first tag match. We had so much fun. And that's the thing. I want wrestling to be fun and I enjoy it. And it's something that we're both very passionate about. So we both have that same vibe and we mix, we go together like peanut butter and jelly. We really do.
So how did that vibe work? Because you guys started tag teaming during a pandemic, right? So obviously very difficult to start off as a team and build chemistry because chemistry takes quite a bit to develop as a tag team. How do you feel like you built that with Heather?
Well, like I said, she came up here to Pittsburgh, so we trained together. We had worked together in the past. We know each other, and our chemistry is undeniable. Whenever we're just hanging out, we never shut up. We talk the whole time. We have so much fun together, and we just have that natural chemistry. The ring stuff, we're still, it'll be crisp. It'll get crisper the more we get to tag together. And we tagged a lot through October and November. We had a ton of matches together. And then we were like messaging each other the other day. I'm like, I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. What's wrong? But yeah, just getting booked together. And that's really all we need to do is just keep tagging, keep getting booked, and the chemistry will just keep getting better and better and better. And we already have the natural chemistry. So we have a baseline that's good.
It seems it, because yeah, it's one thing, because you see sometimes tag teams are just kind of like thrown together, or there's like a business relationship.
So often.
Yeah.
So often.
It seems like you and Heather have such like a natural bond. You would swear like you two are like sisters pretty much at this point. It's funny. It's funny to think that you are such like a new tag team, and the branding behind it too. I have to say, as a branding guy, top notch.
Thank you.
BFT, Blonde Force Trauma, hell of a name. You guys are in sync with your wardrobe, with your entrances, with your move set already. It's all very natural there.
And that's the thing. It's not forced. It's not like, hey, we got extra girls, so we're just gonna put you all in a match together. You two are gonna tag you two. Yeah, it's that happens so often, and women's tag is a thing now. It's an actual thing. So having a partner that I trust and having a partner that I vibe with, having someone that I love to travel with, I know I'm going to have a good time. It's never going to be any drama. That's it. That's what you look for in a tag partner.
So as a singles competitor, because you obviously both are very accomplished, like, why tag teams though? Like why go, not to diminish tag team division, because tag team is great wrestling, but like you have done so much as a singles competitor. Why form a team with someone?
So this might sound a little, I don't know. We both feel like we were getting kind of stagnant in our singles. Like we've both done everything. We've both traveled the world. We've both wrestled for every top company there is, but yet neither one of us are signed. So we're thinking maybe what the other person has might be what the other person is missing. And maybe we can complete each other as well-rounded performers is what we're thinking.
Okay. Strategic thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot. So that leads me to this here. You're not a stranger to tag team competition. You've had a few partners. Last time you were in BCW, actually, you had some sort of alliance, if you will, with Brandy Lauren.
I love Brandy. I love her. I didn't know her until that day, but she's another one that I just bonded with. I was like, okay, we're soul sisters right off the bat.
And so, I mean, she's not the only one. You've had tag team partners before in the past. How is this different, your relationship with Heather, compared to the other partners that you've had in the past? Not to bury anyone here, but like just see, how is this different?
So I've loved every single tag partner I've had. Karen Q, we did a kind of like can't get along thing, but in reality, like we loved working together and it was a lot of fun. And I tagged with Marty Bell. We were Twerk Team. We were the original Twerk Team. And that's kind of funny because Heather was the Killer Bay with Laura James. And our tag teams were so similar. And we even had the same entrance music we found out later on. East and West Coast. Just we never would have known, especially because YouTube wasn't super big around this time, right?
Right.
Or matches weren't getting put on there at least. So it's just really funny. I love Marty Bell. I can't wait for Heather and I to wrestle the Hex.
Yes.
So Marty Bell's one of the partners. Love her. Alicia Edwards. I tagged with her on WoW. She's amazing. She's definitely one of my sisters. I love her so much. She's amazing. I don't think I've had a bad tag partner ever, but Heather and I do have a little bit more of a bond, I think. We definitely are on the same wavelength with a lot of things. Not that I wasn't with my other partners, but everyone's kind of doing their own thing now too. Like Karen got signed to WWE. Alicia's doing her thing at Impact, and Marty is in the Hex with her best friend Allison Kay. So it's cool.
All right. So it seems like whoever you bond with, they go on to do other things here, to go up the ladder.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel though? Because you mentioned before about being unsigned, you are very talented in your own right, that, you very well could be signed to a promotion as well. I think you should be, to see your partners go, not to see there will be a jealousy factor, but like, does that push you anymore? Does that light a fire?
I have been an underdog since day one. When I started wrestling, I was 95 pounds. I was a small girl.
Oh, wow.
I was always getting my ass kicked. I lost every single match for 3 years. And I think when I really realized like what I needed to do, I went to a Rise shimmer taping and I saw how badass these women were. And it just made me want to work so much harder. So I wouldn't say there's jealousy with any of that. I love all of them and I'm really proud of what they do. I think my journey is just going to take me a little bit longer. Like I said, I've always been the underdog. I wasn't naturally athletic. I'm not naturally gifted as a wrestler. I've had to work so hard for everything I've done. And it's just going to be a longer journey. And if it happens for me, it happens for me. If it doesn't, I've done some really cool things along the way.
As you mentioned, you've traveled around the world. You've won championships. You've faced some major stars here, create some star power in your own right. Hey, listen, no disrespect. I dig it. You, Heather Monroe, again, you guys have quite the accolades in the ring, outside the ring, creating a brand for yourself. I completely dig it. All respect in the world. Now we're going to get to some business here. So BCW Queen of the North 3 was January 21st, now moved over to March 19th due to COVID reasons. Respect there as well. What I don't understand here, and I've said this on social media, talked about, hey, marquee match, hell of a match. You guys are our first opponents defending the tag team championship here. We love it. We love the matchup. What we don't dig is how the match was set. You and AJ Pan. I want to know once and for all, what's the relationship there?
So AJ was my agent for my agent manager at the first time I came to BCW, and he helped me get to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did help you get to the finals.
Great coaching.
Is he still your agent?
I guess we'll have to wait and see on March 19th.
Oh, come on now.
I think so. I think, yes. I mean, if someone has proven their results, you're going to keep them, right?
I understand promises were made as well at Queen of the North too, that AJ Pan, to quote, is fulfilling a promise here to you. This is why you have the matchup here.
Oh, yeah. He promised me a title. He didn't say which one.
Mm-hmm. Semantics. I see how this is working now. And I was right. My gut instinct was right. So, with that being said, I guess I will have to make an appearance there at Queen of North 3. I have to be with my boys to make sure AJ Pan stays out of this, to make sure this match goes down the line here.
Oh, it's always fair when Heather and I are in the ring. Right down the middle, we're so fair. Hey, we would never cheat. We never lie.
And listen, respect to you guys. Respect to you both. It's AJ I don't trust. You can tell me all you want. And would a cheater really say that anyway too? Oh, you can trust me.
Trust me?
Look at that smile. It says it all. Why AJ Pan? No, why do you need him? You don't need him.
I mean, he's done some things for me, so I'll keep him around.
Oh boy. All right. So BCW Tag Team Championships, it's the first title defense here, as I mentioned. What would it mean to you and Heather becoming the new BCW Tag Team Champions if it does happen?
Like I said, we need to prove ourselves as a tag team. We need to win some belts. We need to back up who we are with some belts, some wins. So
with some wins, you expect the first big win here to be against ECS.
Yeah. I actually expected our first big win last time we tagged, but it didn't pan out that way.
Well, Raylan, no disrespect. You guys are good, but you're not that good. They're ECS. There are the tag team champions for a reason. They are hungry. They are on fire. Pandemic or not, they're going to continue the momentum where they left off, becoming hashtag and still BCW Tag Team Champions.
We'll see about that. We'll see.
Respectfully. But Raylan, thank you for joining the show for Shot of Wrestling. Where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Raystar5, and you can find me on Twitter at Ray_Lynn. On all of those, my link tree's on there, so you can find my Big Cartel and any other kind of social media you'd want to find would be on those. Sounds good. And Raylan, thank you for joining us. We will see you on March 19th, Queen in the North 3. Bye.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
All right, welcome back. Thank you, Raylan, for your time. I apologize for my co-host being an absolute disrespectful asshole to you. Blonde Force Trauma is a dominant tag team. You don't deserve that. Mark, when you do interviews with people, you should not be biased. You should be professional. And clearly your bias showed here And I apologize to Raylan for your disrespect.
Listen, as I said, I was going behind enemy lines here. We stated the fact that, listen, my team is facing her team. It's a big marquee match for the BCW Tag Team Championship.
Yeah,
I mean,
on the show.
huge.
But you're representative of the Shot of Wrestling now, not East Coast Syndicate. You should be more professional.
Oh, I no. There's no blending. There's no, just is this or that. It's all the same. It's all the same.
No,
I'm
it's
the same
not.
person.
You're a dick, and I apologize to her. Apologize to AJ Pan.
I did keep the respect there with her. I did say I respect her. I respect Heather Monroe. Nothing but respect and love there. But the thing is just I just question the motives behind the AJ Pan, and things have been confirmed for me, and that's why I will be there with Chris Barton and Dominic De Niro with my boys back in action. What is up?
Do you know why? Do you know why I like Blonde Force Tramo?
I mean,
because it never stolen my jacket. An expensive jacket I kindly let to your boy, the Bushwick Beast, Chris Barton, and never got it back.
Well, I mean, not for nothing.
But I made a comment on one of the social media.
Did you ever think you were going to get it back?
Yes. I'm a nice person. But now I learned my lesson.
Really?
I'm gullible.
You're gullible. You're absolutely gullible.
I made a comment.
We take jackets. That's what we do.
I made a comment on one of their pages, and Dominic De Niro goes, "We also take jackets." I'm like, I have no comeback from that. Can I send you?
They took Brother Greatness jacket.
Can I send you an invoice? But anyway, moving on. Thank you, Raylan, for your time. Good luck against the East Coast Syndicate.
Yes, good luck, because you're going to need it. You and Heather Monroe, you're going to need it, because not for nothing. I mean, you brand yourselves really well. You're a great team and all, but she said herself, they haven't had that big win yet, and they expect to just waltz on into BCW just because they have a relationship with the governor and get the win on East Coast Syndicate. We fought too hard for too long to get to this point to become the inaugural BCW Tag Team Champions, and we're not going to go down without a fight. There's no way in hell.
Mark, what was your TV takedown this week?
This is going to surprise you, buddy.
Okay.
It's going to surprise you because I am going with Impact, my man.
Okay, talk about it. Let's do this.
So Impact, they've been like making a lot of noise in 2022. I'll have to say, right off the bat, we hear casually on SmackDown, Impact Knockout Champions Mickie James gonna be in the Royal Rumble. Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what? I just woke up now. Did I hear that right? Then they had Hard to Kill, Mickie James, Deonna Purrazzo. Those ladies, they crushed it. Hell of a main event. Good for them. And we were curious to see if Mickie James would retain. And as we kind of predict, they're thinking about business-wise.
Right call.
Yes, she retained, and that makes sense. Right call. But they made it up to Deonna Purrazzo and Impact, having her with a phenomenal match with Roxy, the ROH at that time women's champion. Now Deonna Purrazzo is the champion of Ring of Honor. But we also saw Ring of Honor completely invading Impact. And it just, I don't know, man. Like, I'm digging what Impact is doing. I'm digging the relationships that they have with AEW, New Japan, ROH, and now WWE. Apparently, they're like wide open for business, and I'm very curious to see like how they manage going forward with all these relationships and what it does for their brand. If it brings more eyes to them, if they wind up growing, because honestly, I mean, Access TV, not the best TV programming in the world.
Nope.
But I mean, they're playing it smart. I think they recognize that they're not going to get initial viewers just off what they're doing, that they need help there. They need to piggyback off other audiences here. And I think it's a smart plan. They're very self-aware of who they are.
Hell yeah,
as a business, as a promotion. And they have phenomenal talent, and they keep on bringing these other type of talents here with all these forbidden doors open. Like every single door they have right now is open. Every single door.
Yeah.
And
the windows.
Crazy.
I think some windows are open too.
Yeah, some windows are open as well. The skylight is open. Like everything's open.
I think I talked about it a while ago. A lot of people give Tony Khan credit for opening the Forbidden Door, but I don't think Impact gets enough credit because before Impact, they air old pay-per-views. But going back to the 09s, the early 10s, the 11s, 2011, 2012, Impact has relationships with New Japan, other promotions, Noah. So their quote-unquote Forbidden Door has always been open. They've always been open for business. This is nothing new for Impact. They've been always willing to work with other promotions. Again, something I don't think they get enough credit for. But this Ring of Honor, I was watching the pay-per-view myself. This is awesome, and I love how they're dividing it. Because you had Roxy defending her championship, you had Jonathan Gresham defending his championship, and they had the Ring of Honor commentating, they had the Ring of Honor ring announcer, and they're always constantly on the pay-per-view and on Impact this past week mentioning this invasion has nothing to do with Ring of Honor. They're going rogue. They have nothing to do with Ring of Honor. They have nothing to do with Baltimore. We have no control over these guys. So doing a nice job differentiating between Ring of Honor and this quote-unquote invasion of PCO and the Bennetts and Walter.
Oh, apparently news today,
I'm sorry.
PCO. I think PCO is now signed with Impact.
He just signed, yes. That's huge. Huge for them.
And PCO, I mean, he's been on a tear for years now. He's like a fine wine, getting better with age. The Tom Brady of wrestling,
Yes,
if
right.
you will. And yeah, I mean, good for him signing a deal with Impact there. I think that's a huge get.
Huge, yeah. They're doing a great job, man, especially with Ring of Honor with their hiatus they're on now. What they did on Hard to Kill was like, oh my God, what's this? And then on Impact, they immediately made this huge splash by taking out D'Lo Brown,
Yeah.
taking out Matthew Raywalt, and everyone who came out to save him. Impact is doing a great job with this Ring of Honor invasion, and it's only been week 1, so
They really are. I mean,
they're doing a great job.
Great shine. They're giving great shine to Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor never really had TV programming to really maximize the star power of the talent that they have there, and they have phenomenal talent. They've had phenomenal talent for years.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of which we're seeing now in WWE and AEW. So they've had talent, but they just never had the marketing. They never had the TV deals or anything like that. So I, for one, I've never really sat down and watched an ROH show from beginning to end. I've seen plenty of clips online. I understand, who these talents are.
You know of them, yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know them. I know because they do their own jobs as far as marketing themselves and branding themselves. So respect, but this is the first time really seeing what they're doing on a grander scale. And if ROH does come back, I think this only helps them.
Yeah, the rumor to come back in around April, again, not shutting down, taking a brief hiatus.
They're standing firm in that. Yes.
Yeah, so who knows if that's true or not. But their partnership with Impact, so far, 1 week in, keeping the Ring of Honor name alive to help them through this hiatus. It's really fantastic. Again, this rogue group is different from the championship they have. They're doing a great job. It's so far, Impact is fucking killing it, man.
Can I say, I feel like we've done this time and time again on this show. Deonna Purrazzo, fucking hell of a talent.
Yes.
Back to back, 5-star matches, I would say. With her and Mickie James at Hard to Kill. And then her match with Roxy was just lights out.
So I watched that match, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match because back to the story they told with it.
Yeah.
Then I read reviews. A lot of people weren't too fond of it because there are a lot of awkward spots, maybe a botch here and there. I'm like,
oh, stop with the
I think
botches,
you're being
man.
a little
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker had botches in WrestleMania 25, and that was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
again, I think you're being too critical. Exactly. Just the story they told outside, maybe some of the moves didn't go as fluid as we expected them to, but the story they told was fantastic, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that match. I was surprised to hear the criticism from that match.
You know, one thing, I'm not necessarily a Jim Cornette guy, but one thing I will agree with him on that he said before in the past: if it looks so fluid, it's going to be looking like more like a dance. You want it to be a little bit
true.
like
Good point.
You want it to appear like a fight. It's not so choreographed, and that's exactly what it felt like. It was a fight.
Yes. It was weird because I didn't know the Texas deathmatch rules. I never heard of one before, actually. So I think right off the bat, one of them got a pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? But it was a last man standing match. Basically, you have to enter a 10 count, but the 10 count could only be initiated after a pinfall or submission.
Right.
So I thought it was really different. It was interesting. So I thought I enjoyed it. Like I said, props to both women. Main eventing the Impact pay-per-view. I don't remember last time that happened.
And then with Roxy as well, man. I mean, like Roxy. I mean, I've heard a lot of great things about that she's a rising star here.
She's only like 20. She's not even 21 yet. Same thing with Cora Jade.
That's wild.
Not even 21.
Dude, she is a fucking star in the making.
It's weird because when I read that, you were going off on Rhea Ripley. Man, this woman's a talent. She's only 23 years old. Roxy has 3 years on her.
Right.
It's amazing the future she has.
It's so bright.
Yeah.
It's so bright, man. And like they had such great chemistry in that ring together. They told a story. They told a story very well in that ring. And again, I mean, like Deonna Purrazzo took a fucking beating from Mickie James just a few days before. You know, I mean, that was a hard fought
the
match.
day before. It props to her. She's probably the best.
Right, the day before. So, right. So the day before. So you're right. Then the next day, because these are taped, the next day she goes in and puts on a stellar match again, back to back. Deonna Purrazzo, man, like WWE made a mistake with her, I think, or maybe this just lit a fire under her ass when they released her, because like I don't think she has any interest in ever going back to WWE again. I can't blame her.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, what a waste of talent they did on her, but they would have wasted her on the E. So she's better off where she is now.
Someone was saying like, I can't find the tweet right now, but on Twitter, like they were saying like how Deonna Purrazzo could be another surprise entrant possibly in a Royal Rumble and have a face off with Mickie James in there. Deonna Purrazzo quote retweeted it. I said, no. So that goes to show her feelings about WWE in general.
She doesn't need them. Take care, come here.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
She's better
I
off.
think she recognized that.
A one-off appearance in the Rumble would be huge for her, but again, she does not need that.
No.
And I don't think they would offer it to her because they don't want to incorporate other storylines on their show.
True.
So,
but you know, I mean, this is my takedown general Impact. I really am looking forward to see what they're doing next and how they grow. I think this is a big year for them. I think they're hitting off the year strong.
do you know why?
And what do you mean?
This is their 20th anniversary. This is a huge year for them. This is their 20th anniversary year. So
I did not know that.
I'm expecting huge things from them from this year.
I mean, already.
Yeah.
Phenomenal job.
14 days into the new year. Great pay-per-view. Great Impact. They're killing it. I'm so excited about Impact right now.
And, you know, I mean, not for nothing. Moose is making a lot of waves, too. He wants that match with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, imagine. That'd be fucking awesome.
So I'm very curious here. It seems like John Laurinaitis, as I understand, John Laurinaitis reached out to Scott D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore, yeah.
Again, so to work this out.
Impact always open for business. They've never decided about that. The timing was right. The agreement was right. So this works out perfectly for both parties.
And as I understand it, WWE does have plans for a huge surprise for the Men's Royal Rumble, for Forbidden Door type of deal here. Could that be Moose? Could that be someone from Impact? Could it be someone from AEW? Could it be? Who knows what that's going to be here? So it seems like it's interesting that this came from John Laurinaitis that reached out to Impact. If it's another Impact star, if this relationship with Mickie James goes well here at the Royal Rumble, if it draws the numbers they want to draw, like it does make me think like they could play some more. You know, could they give Moose and Roman Reigns? Who knows, man? Either way, I think this is great for Impact.
See, I read that too, and I don't see any name on the Impact roster as a surprise entrance getting a huge reaction outside Matt Cardona because he's well established.
But Matt Cardona will not do that.
But I don't see him coming back for that, which leads us to AEW, who the report came out that AEW and WWE are going to start working together for projects for the network and documentaries because half AEW's roster is former WWE guys.
Right.
So could that lead to an AEW member entering the Royal Rumble?
Jericho was like the most logical choice.
So I started wondering who, what? Because I'm about the reaction. I would love to see Moose in the Rumble. I think it would hurt them because he's not going to win, obviously. So I don't know how that feels about their champion getting eliminated. But I also don't think Moose would get a big, huge reaction in that huge stadium. Who would get a huge reaction? Chris Jericho, John Moxley, Cody Rhodes, and Sting are the only, and Daniel Bryan are the 5 names that came about. Of those names, I don't see 3 of them coming in.
So you think it would have to be like a WWE original, not necessarily an AEW original?
It would have to be somebody who was formerly in WWE, yes. Unless MJF, but I do not see that happening.
Oh my God. They would be, AEW would be out of their minds to let MJF do that, especially if his contract is going to be coming up and he's already teasing about the idea of going to WWE.
There's no way.
I would not let him play with it, WWE.
There's no way he goes to WWE. I think he's gonna be an AEW lifer, like Wardlow just came out. He announced he's gonna stay with AEW for life. But storyline wise, with his feud with CM Punk, I think that would make a lot of sense if it's MJF. But I don't think the partnership with AEW is that close.
No.
But Chris Jericho's done it before. He came on Stone Cold show.
I think that's the most logical one, man. And I think that would get a huge pop.
There's absolutely zero animosity with Daniel Bryan. I could see him doing a quick off. Especially
his wife is going to be there.
Yeah, and he's done a great job in Rumbles in the past. Sting's a legend. I don't believe there's any animosity with Sting the way he left. I think everything that's open as well. But again, I don't think it's going to be an AEW person because I don't think that relationship's that tight yet. Let's start with the documentaries. Let's start with film footage and libraries. I'm curious, man. I'm just curious. And that leads me to Christian, the obvious choice. He did it last year. That was his big comeback. Can we see him come back 2 years in a row? Because he's not really doing anything in AEW right now. He's the cheerleader for the Jurassic Express, whatever they're called. So, Christian's my top pick.
Watch, we're completely wrong. It's going to be a big show or Mark Henry.
Truth. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. There's a huge buzz about the Royal Rumble that has not been around for quite a while. I started listening to the After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves for the first time. Surprisingly, it took me this long. And they reminded me how this is not the first thing. There's been past championships, there's been past other promotion members in the Rumble, in the 90s especially. But this is a huge scale of Impact and AEW. This is America.
I don't remember. Who?
It's Japan stuff. New Japan members.
New Japan.
There's been no other American competitors.
Like rival. It's not like we had someone from WCW and like that, or even ECW and having him come at that point.
There's a huge buzz. I'm excited. There has to be now this report coming out. There has to be one huge surprise. And again, I won't see Moose, but I don't see Moose garnishing the reaction from that crowd. I think a fraction of the audience knows who Moose is.
So you think it's AEW? You don't think it's the Impact?
No. Well, anyway, we could talk all night about that.
Oh my God! Yeah, just speculating. I am so excited for the Royal Rumble. Like this is why the Royal Rumble has always been my favorite, because it's just the surprises. Just like you don't know, it's so unpredictable. Yeah, and it just kicks things off for WrestleMania, man. It's always been my favorite. It always will be my favorite for this reason. I think they're doing a great job creating a lot of buzz around here. Yeah, I know. Like last week, they dropped a lot of surprises on us, but like they're obviously they did so for a reason, because they have a what's the phrase here? An ace in the hole. They clearly have a big one coming up for us. So I'm giddy with excitement, man.
One of the names that popped in my head was Minoru Suzuki. He was on AEW. He was on Impact. He's not contracted with anybody else right now except New Japan. So he'll be a name that a lot of the audience would know. But again, it wouldn't be a huge pop. I think they want a huge pop like AJ Styles came about.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for.
And the only names I could think of are the AEW names I mentioned earlier. So we'll see what happens.
Watch, it's Jade Cargill. It could be a woman, dude.
No, because they had Mickie James, so now they're talking about men specifically.
No, but it could be a woman in the men's Royal Rumble. That's
true.
Happened before.
Don't see an outsider entering the men's Rumble. Woman, anyway. Is it my turn now? We're half an hour in.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Sticking with the Impact, you mentioned a lot of things I wanted to talk about, but Tom Hannafin replaced Matt Striker.
Yes,
he was a great announcer for WWE. Big solid pickup for Impact. Still miss Matt Striker, but whatever. But on Impact, they took out D'Lo Brown, and it shows a lot of confidence Impact has in him, because he did a lot of the show not only by himself, but like rotating commentating partners.
He did.
Now we've done commentary too. I don't know how I would feel about like random people coming in per match. So it just shows
BCW has done it quite a bit, I feel like.
But it's always been Pete Rosado, AJ Penn, and more than Green Man. So it was Pete, Green Man, and somebody else, or it'd be Pete, AJ, and somebody else. It was at least two guys there. Tom's by himself, and so just showed a lot of confidence. I'm like, right, that's a huge compliment they're playing to him, which means that he's well versed on the history of the product, the current product. I wasn't too excited when they announced him as the replacement, but like he was impressive.
It made sense, though. Yeah. It made sense.
Match I didn't know I wanted to see until I saw it was Josh Alexander versus Charlie Haas. Where the fuck Charlie Haas come
from? I was surprised by that.
Huge surprise.
Where has he been?
I don't know. Okay, awesome. They are kind of similar in their backgrounds. Like this should be a fun match. I was reading reviews of the show, and there was one review I want to get your opinion on. I'm a big Impact fan, especially with the kayfabe and the storyline wise, right? This past show was just wrestling and storyline. This review said, and I quote, Impact ditched the campiness and presented itself as a straight professional wrestling show for 2 hours. No Undead Realm, no Wrestle House, no Swingers Palace, no comedy act. Has Impact finally turned the corner by moving away from the silliness? Do you think that's better, or do you think that would hurt them in the long run? If
is this a
true?
permanent? Is this?
We don't know.
This
is one person review on the show. I'm like, do we want them to get away from the silliness? Because that differentiates them from AEW and WWE.
So, this I was actually going to say this before. The ROH invasion that's going on here kind of reminds me a little bit of like when WCW invaded WWE, right?
Okay.
And at that point, Undertaker wasn't, the dead man.
Oh, the badass.
He was the
Okay.
badass, right? So there was no paranormal stuff going on. There was no comedy acts going on. I mean, it was just straight up fights, right? So I feel like right now with what's going on with ROH and this combination, this storyline being played out, I feel like they can't really do a lot of that. Maybe they can introduce it back in as like a last ditch effort. Like, you know what, ROH is getting the best of us. It's time to unleash the doors of hell.
It's a really good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it makes sense.
As like a last ditch. I mean, it would make sense here.
There's a lot of eyes on you right now, so let's be serious.
Yeah. So I think it plays well with the storyline here. I hope they don't break away from it permanently, because like the Dead Realm, I think it's entertaining. It's intriguing. There's something about the undead and any form of wrestling that just brings you in if done right.
Because also kayfabe. There's not much kayfabe going on with WWE and AEW right now, and that's what differentiates them, because they're doing these random characters and unbelievable storylines.
Right. And not for nothing, man. Like I've said about Wrestle House before in the past, I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was an original way to get new viewers, if you will, to understand who these characters are. And I thought it was unique. It was different. I appreciate unique and different. I like the fact that Impact they're always willing to step outside the box creatively. If it misses, it misses. If it hits, it's a hit. And they're okay with it. They're okay with taking chances. And I respect that, and I dig that. And I hope they do more of it.
Now, we don't believe Mickie James is contracted to Impact. She did an interview today where it was announced she is under contract with Impact. So I'm not really sure where her legal status lies with Impact. But she's also not under contract with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
WWE has shut themselves off from everybody for a long time now. So for a non-contracted WWE member to enter one of the biggest shows of the year, this is a forbidden door situation. I saw somebody on Twitter commented, and I bit my lip about it. It makes no sense what their logic is. This is a forbidden door situation because an outsider is entering the WWE universe. Whether their contract status with whatever promotion, Impact, NWA, Mickie James entering WWE ring, not under contract with the E, is a huge fucking deal for any promotion. So yes, this is a huge, huge deal. Please. And that's all my opinion. You guys believe what you want.
It's a big deal in the terms of wrestling. It's a big deal in the terms of like WWE's history in the past of like just having the blinders on and pretending that they only live in the WWE universe, that nothing outside exists.
That's where the universe came from. That's where the universe came from. They're not ignoring everybody else.
And now for some, they're acknowledging another promotion.
Yeah.
And going to have potentially even another promotion's championship.
It's great.
Be featured on a television.
So I don't understand why people don't believe this.
This is like the Avengers movie, and all of a sudden you have Aquaman come in.
Batman.
I mean,
anyway,
Batman would be.
You
know what I'm saying?
But yeah, totally agree, man. And people who are saying this is not a forbidden door situation, I see that on our Twitter account. It's just, how do you not see this? And Impact's not desperate. It's not a desperate move for Impact. Impact's been open for business for a lot of other companies, like I mentioned earlier. The only thing Impact's desperate for, if you want to use the word desperate for Impact, if anything, is a big network deal. Because they're on a network that I think a little less than half the country doesn't even get.
Exactly, man. And it's a
So,
shame because
it's just Impact haters hating on Impact. I'm tired of people hating on shit that they're not even watching.
the thing is, if they were like me before in mass, they're just remembering the downfall of Impact, right?
Yeah.
Of all the carny stuff that was going on at the end there of TNA. But now Impact is they've completely rebranded themselves in a way.
Yeah.
And like dude, from start to finish, their roster is extremely talented. They have some very good storylines in there. It's a solid product.
I used to make fun of Impact too. I used to make fun of TNA here on the show, me and Green Man all the time, because we didn't watch it. But every time I did watch it, looking back now, it wasn't bad. I did enjoy myself. And what they do on Access TV now is they air old pay-per-views for Impact before Impact starts. Looking back in the late aughts, early 10s, that roster, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Ric Flair,
Roster,
Hogan, Nash, Jay Lethal. I can keep going on and on, but their roster was stacked. Bully Ray, Devon, yeah. Aces and Eights, Main Event Mafia, Kurt Angle, Christian, Booker T. They had a huge roster.
Bobby Roode, James Storm.
They had a great roster. They did a lot of good stuff. And
Matt Morgan.
It's weird. They don't get enough credit for their history. And I was one of those victims, too, until I learned it. And, like, reading these comments on Twitter, obviously, these people don't know anything about the history of TNA or Impact. They just know the bad stuff. And I think that's kind of hurts me because, like, Impact gets shitted on for the past. And they don't have a bad past. They've come with low moments, but
it was just really
roster,
when Hogan, Bischoff, and the NWO cronies came in there, it just shit went south. And Vince Russo.
And when they went head to head with the Raw, I think it was 2010, 2011, it just killed any momentum they had. It just
absolutely.
Sucks, give Impact a chance. # give Impact a chance. Because you won't. Because you're a victim too. You gave it a chance and you love it.
Totally, man.
It's
it's my takedown.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like Impact right now, they're like the ECW back in the day. They're the third promotion.
Yeah.
They definitely have like a hardcore audience, the hardcore fan base.
They do, because there's always like the same
not
four
a lot
guys.
of people pay attention to them.
There's always the same 4 people like ringside who follow Impact wherever they go. I'm like, I wish I could be one of those guys.
But yeah, I mean, look, remember back in the day, ECW was kind of like the butt of everyone's jokes, extremely crappy wrestling,
true,
and all that. But like, there was a lot of gold in ECW that people picked from.
So
Impact is the same way, and AEW, I would say, is the WCW of today.
With that being said, let's get into some go home thoughts. Mark, you've been part of the show for a couple of years now.
I was thinking that today. It's crazy.
You've done a great job, man. You've been killing it. I bust your chops a lot. You've become a big part of this show.
Oh, thank you.
You contribute a lot to this show. I didn't know where the show would be without you right now, because you're a huge presence on our social media, mainly our Twitter. In these interviews, you're killing it on the interviews. You're doing a fantastic job. I think everyone listening agrees. You're doing a great job for the show. You're a huge asset to this show.
Wow. I'm like really touched, man. Thank you.
So for that, I have to say you're fired. Good luck in your future endeavors. Your services are no longer required.
Wait,
you're done.
What?
You're done.
What?
You're fired.
Why? What'd I do?
I'm sorry. Oh, wait. I'm not the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins let go their great head coach this past week, and that makes absolutely zero sense why they would do that. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. And now, as the weeks has gone past, stories have come out, it makes more sense. You need to get rid of your fucking inept GM, because Brian Flores has been the coach for 3 years. Year 1, they gutted that team. Gutted it in attempts to get the number 1 draft pick. Unbeknownst to them, Brian Flores was a good fucking coach. And in the last third of the season, he turned that team around into a winning team.
He did.
So from the first draft pick, which was a lock, we ended up getting the 5th pick, which I don't think management and the GM weren't expecting, nor did they like, which fractured their relationship. The reason Tua got benched because Brian Flores wasn't a fan of his. He believed in Fitzmagic. Flores wanted Herbert instead of Tua, but the GM and the owner outvoted him. So it just, as a diehard Miami Dolphins fan, this is heartbreaking. to find out that the owner sided with its inept GM over our winning, productive coach who has given us 2 winning seasons in a row. Last time the Dolphins did that, I cannot tell you. 10 wins last season, 9 wins this season. It just gutted me. I mean, it just makes no fucking sense.
9 wins, by the way. 9 wins after 10 years, after 10 wins. Sounds like a drop-off, but you have to keep in mind, there's a lot of drama that happened this year. There was uncertainty with Tua and his growth, also injuries. There's a young team. There's also a lot of drama going around about like the rumors about Deshaun Watson being traded to the Dolphins and what that would do
was
to
because
young quarterback's confidence.
That was Brian Flores. Deshaun Watson
Right.
Deshaun Watson wanted to come to Miami because of Brian Flores. Flores did not believe in Tua.
But still, like you think about, but still, there's drama there with that. Tua being a young quarterback
Who wasn't even the head coach.
I mean, that would fuck with his mindset. But they still turn around. They won what 8? The 8 of their last 9 games to end the year strong.
They lost 7 games in a row.
They destroyed the Patriots. They've beaten the Patriots 3 out of the last 3 times. No, 3 out of the last 4 times actually.
I believe so. Brian Flores owns the Patriots.
Yeah,
Makes no fucking sense. It just it's still good. Like I'm flabbergasted. And now looking at the candidates they're interviewing, scrubs. Fuck this.
I think Vance Joseph is a leading contender there.
Fuck this, man. And I'm hoping the New York Giants hire a GM as soon as possible so they can hire Brian Flores, because then I'll become a Giants fan.
No joke. Brian Flores. Great head coach. Apparently, may not be the best communicator, but whatever. I mean, the dude wins. The dude wins. He finds a way to get the most of his players.
He charged on the field to attack current players because the players are disrespecting his players. That's what we want in a coach. You want a coach that believes in your team, believes in his players, and
he's clearly the best coach to come out of the Belichick tree.
Yeah. Again, it's like me firing you right now. It just makes no fucking sense.
So, rumor has it. By the way, thank you for
You're welcome. God bless you.
all of that. I mean, that really did touch me.
Yeah, I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy.
I love it too, man. I don't think it goes to the Giants though. There's a connection there with the Texans GM. A rumor has it Brian Flores is a leading candidate there for the Houston Texans.
Really? I didn't hear that. I heard the Bears or the Broncos.
I mean, dude, any of those teams could use. I mean, the Bears, the Broncos, the Vikings. I mean, they're all more set up to win now. Giants definitely need a lot of help. I think the Giants, they need the right GM to bring in the right coach.
That's the key thing now.
Bring in the right quarterback.
But I'm just fucking.
Houston is
I'm just
complete
done.
Fucking disaster.
I'm just done. This is fucking bullshit. The one of the coach of the year candidate for the last 2 years, you let go. Again, this is a wrestling podcast. We're way over time. I just want to keep dwelling on this, but I need to vent about this because this is my.
Welcome to my frustrations of being a Jet fan, because we deal with kind of like the same carny shit here. So
you guys doubled your wins from last year, though. So that's are you happy about that, or just is 4 wins? Was it still a negative loss?
All right, so I'm happy with like the progress that has been made. It's the youngest team in the league, with a young coaching staff. Robert Saleh, first-time head coach. Matt LaFleur, first-time play caller. Zach Wilson, rookie. Michael Carter, rookie. Like there's a lot of young blood here. I'm excited for the progress of the team. I know they have the 4th most cap space next year going in. They have 2 draft picks in the top 10. Joe Douglas, as a GM, I'm 50-50 on. He had a great draft this past year. To draft beforehand, maybe proven to be a bust if the rumors are true that Mekhi Becton could be gone. Zach Wilson, I'm not sold on. I'm not going to lie. I'm not completely sold on him.
It's funny because 2 friends of mine came over to my house to watch the Dolphins-Giants game. And of course, Daniel Jones had a lot more experience than Zach Wilson. But I asked both of them, do you believe in Daniel Jones? One of them said, yeah, he's my quarterback. He just needs the right coach and right leadership. Other guy said, no, he's gone. We get rid of him. So I was going to ask you that. But did you believe in Zach Wilson's progression over the year?
No.
Okay.
I think he made very little progression towards the end of the year. Like, he still thinks he's in college, I think.
Okay.
Where he can get away with like some of the backyard shit they used to do at BYU. And keep in mind, he was at BYU facing like nobodies. You're in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
He had one good year in college. I feel like that was a bad move on their part getting Zach Wilson. I think, they probably would have been better off going with Mac Jones or Justin Fields. I don't know anything about Trey Lance yet.
Hands down.
No one really knows. But, I think they made a mistake with Zach Wilson. I never really thought he'd be the guy. He's proven me right now. I want to be proven wrong. But, he's still a very young kid. So, to his benefit, at the end of the year, the offensive line was depleted. All his stars were getting injured one by one by one. He had a great connection with Braxton Berrios, and then he went down. So he was really working with scrubs at the last game, which was atrocious on his part. But, he had nobody. So we kind of got to give him a little bit of slack here, as much as I hate to admit it. So we'll see what happens next year.
A huge weakness of the Dolphins is the O-line. And a friend of mine was talking to me about the draft, and there was a big O-line prospect that was on the card, on the table. Dolphins passed on him.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that.
But he had a great year.
Sewell.
Yes. He had a great year this year. Almost maybe a Pro Bowl year. He had a great year. But
Jalen Waddle was a great receiver for them.
He was asking me, how did I feel about that? How did I feel about the Waddle pick? I'm like, I cannot argue that. Jalen Waddle was Tua's number one target. Jalen Waddle broke the record for receptions for a rookie in one season. He became the team's MVP. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping this upcoming draft.
And also, Waddle and Tua had that connection in college. So
yeah, that's why they drafted him over the O-line guy, because that connection with Tua, which means the Dolphins are all in on Tua. But the Jets and the Giants both have 2 picks in the top 10. So happy for our New York teams. I'm happy for the Giants. Fuck the Jets. No offense.
Yeah, well, I understand. We're rivals.
Yeah. So, football's getting crazy, man. The season ended on a crazy note. I'm so pissed.
Before we leave the air right now, let's make our predictions for Super Bowl. Who you got?
I have always been, since he's been drafted, a Tannehill fan. He's still my quarterback. So I'm pulling for the Titans. I'm pulling for the Titans, but
I can't believe they got the 1 seed.
I can, but
it's
so weird because Derrick Henry left week 5. He was still leading.
No, later than that.
No, I think it was week 5 or 6. He still led this. He still led the league in rushing yards for quite a while.
Yeah.
He ended the season 6th. Nuts.
The dude is a monster.
I don't see.
AJ Brown was injured for a while. Julio Jones didn't pan out. Like, they had nobody.
I don't see how
absolutely nobody.
Don't pick either the Chiefs or the Chiefs, Bucks, or Packers.
You're not picking any of them?
No, I'm saying that it's going to be the Chiefs at the NFC, AFC.
Oh,
Bucks, Packers in the finals. I don't know who I pick those 2. I'm going with Packers. Chiefs, Packers, Super Bowl.
I am going to go with Bills, Packers winning.
All right, so we're getting the winner.
Yeah. We shall say. I think, honestly, the winner, and the show will be aired by this point, the winner of Bills Patriots is going to win. Is going to go to AFC. He's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Really? Okay. I hope so, because I'm tired of the fucking Chiefs.
Really? I am a huge fan of the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. I just don't think it's their year this year.
I was the underdog. I'm just tired of the Chiefs winning. Okay, they're not that good. Fuck that. Come on, give me some underdogs. But I can't put my wagon behind the Bills, obviously. So
dude. How do you think I feel about that? Saying about the
which
Bills,
is why I'm pulling all my weight behind the Titans because of Tannehill and Derrick Henry, Vrabel. Great. They have a great team there.
Vrabel's got to win Coach of the Year, by the way. My God.
You mean besides Brian Flores?
All due respect to Brian Flores, Mike Vrabel did it with Band-Aids and bruises all over that team. He pretty much had the replacements on there. He still wanted to get into 1 seed. That just goes to great coaching.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Shot of Wrestling. So let's stop with the football talk. Let's wrap things up. Marcus, MC3, go home thoughts.
Guys, you can find me at yourfavoriteactor.com. All my social media links are on there, along with my interviews, Hollywood's Corner, and Shot of Wrestling as well. You can find all our work on there on yourfavoriteactor.com.
We had a good show tonight, Marcus. Thanks for being here. Great interview.
Thank you to Raylan.
Great interview with Ray Lynn. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys kick the East Coast Syndicate ass and get my jacket back for me. So for Mark Schwann, for Ray Lynn, I have been your host at MugJPig. Until next week, rest in peace, Danny Tanner. Putty up.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This old world confusing me. Clouds as lean as you've ever seen. Ain't a bird who knows you're true. Then a little voice inside you whispers. Don't sell your dreams so soon. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look, everywhere you look.